hello, and welcome to Stop, Let's Team Up, My Legion Adventure, episode 43. It seems like forever, but it's just been 2 weeks. Took a little break for Thanksgiving, had turkeys to make, food to eat, family to hang out with, dogs to walk, comics to read. But we're back. You got 2 episodes back to back. I hope you enjoyed the this past week's conversation with Jennifer DeRoss about the Magnificent Quartet of Tales. If you haven't listened to it and you listen to this, go back. You skipped an episode. And I hope also you like my thoughts of New Generation, New Golden Age 1, and Stargirl, The Lost Children 1. I have not gotten my Legion of Justice Society of Superheroes number 1 sitting in my box. I'm getting the foil cover, I think. What my local comic shop guy Patrick at Velocity Comics said he would pull one. I just want the comic. I've seen things. It's been spoiled for me. I don't care. I'm excited. But let's go from there and let's get started with this week's episode. We are covering Adventure Comics 327 and 328. So let's get started with 327 because that one comes first. All right, Adventure Comics 327, cover date December 1964. I may not be born yet. We're getting closer. Cover credits is Kurt Swan penciler and John Forte penciler vignette. Vignette only. That's the Lone Wolf on the cover. Well, I'll talk about the cover. And inker George Klein. So it's the cover is based on the Superboy story that's in this book, not the Legion story. The menace of Superboy's father, Jonathan Kent's walking into Superboy while he's sitting at the table eating a sandwich and drinking some milk, as you good kid Smallville would do. And Jonathan says, "I've trapped you, Superboy. You did away with my son Clark Kent, but now I will have my revenge." And Superboy, being affected by the kryptonite, says, "Dad, gasp! Don't you remember? I'm Clark, and you're killing me with deadly kryptonite." And he's dropping his sandwich and dropping his milk. And then there's a little thing on the bottom with a lovely image of the Lone Wolf, Bryn Londo, by John Forte. It's a neat little cover. Very 1964. But the story we're covering is 15 pages long. This is the longest one in a while. The part 1 is called The Lone Wolf Legionnaire, which is the main name of the story. Part 2 is called The Youth Who Wasn't Human. Credits plot, editor, plotter, Mort Weisinger, plotter, scripter, Edmund Hamilton, penciler, inker, John Forte, letterer, Mill Snap, and roll call, Saturn Girl, Lightning Lad, Chameleon Boy, Superboy, Sunboy, Ultra Boy, Mon-El, Light Lass, and Brainiac 5. Supporting characters, we are introduced to Lone Wolf, Bryn Londo, his first appearance. Chief Wilson of the Science Police is here. The villain is Karth On, first and only appearance. He is an android created by Bryn's dad. Light Last costume emblem changes to a cloud with changes from a cloud to a feather as of the story, which is thankful because Cloud was silly, and Cloud becomes Dreamgirl's logo when we see that many years in the future with the monitor board. So let's do the synopsis. The Legionnaire examines their new emergency board, which has screens linked to every world's officials. An official from the planet Zune calls twice with reports of theft committed by a superhuman person. Ultra Boy and Lightning Lad fly there to investigate, while Brainiac 5, Light Lass go to Metropolis Interplanetary Circus at the request of the Science Police, as some featured beasts may too be dangerous for the public safety. Brainiac and Light Lass arrive to discover that a Morvenian fear beast has projected fright into the animals' minds, causing them to panic. As Camel Fance stampede toward the audience, a young, super-strong acrobat appears and quells the beast. Conferring with the 2 Legionnaires afterward, the youth tells them that his name is Karth Arn, also known as Lone Wolf, and he wants to no part of their legion. Their mention of Zune robberies upsets him, and Brainiac tells his teammates that he suspects Lone Wolf is the culprit. As Light Lass, who cares for him, protests his innocence. The 2, accompanied by Sunboy, fly to Zune to pursue Lone Wolf and confer with Ultra Boy and Lightning Lad. They overtake Lone Wolf on Zune, but their Legion cruiser is sucked into a force beam which draw them into another dimension, a trap Lone Wolf knows was set for him. He knocks their ship free with his own, and the two fall to the ground. Lightlass rushes to Lone Wolf's aid, but when he regains consciousness, he informs her that he is not human. He then runs away, and a tearful Lightlass relates the news to Brainiac 5 and Sunboy, who conclude that Lone Wolf must be an android. Learning that the late Mar Londo of Zune had experimented with androids, the heroes meet a youth who claims to be Dr. Londo's son Bryn. He tells him that Dr. Londo has built an army of androids to collect the rare element Zuninium, which he believes can give humans superpowers from the planet's vast caverns. The android's leader, Karth Arn, was the only one to survive the task and deserted Bryn shortly after Dr. Londo's death. Lone Wolf suddenly arrives for a showdown with Bryn, who knows he was responsible for nearly trapping the Legionnaires in his dimensional force beam. During the struggle that follows, Brainiac 5 notices that the dimensional machine powered by the stolen space crystal in Bryn's living quarters and deduces that Bryn Londo is really an android. It's really the android Karth Arn. Karth Arn confesses that he inflicted the real Bryn with amnesia following Dr. Londo's death and switched identities with him, and then stole the dimensional machine and space crystal to use against Bryn, lest he realize the truth in return. A happy Bryn Londo now, knowing he was really human, is eager to stay with the Legion and tells Lightlass never call him Lone Wolf again. That's the first appearance of Bryn Londo, who will later become Timberwolf, and who is on the cover of the very first Legion story I ever remember reading, from Superboy 198. I may have the number wrong. And he's on the cover. It's when he's come back, and he's got his brown and brown, his most famous costume. To go through this story, I really like this one. I've read this a bunch. It's been reprinted a few times. The Caliphants are kind of cool. They're blue. I keep really some of the stuff they do, because they only have four color press, are some neat color choices. And I wish I knew who the colorist was. I think this is this is one of the better stories not in a while, but I think this is one of the better stories of this era. It's got some of the tropes and stuff like that, but I think Lone Wolf's a great character. I think the story is a good origin for him. You see the beginning of the Lightlass Lone Wolf love affair, as if it were, which I like. I've said before again and again that I like that these people meet people and they have relationships that last and that'll go on for decades. It's a real fun. This one's a really fun one. And I can't recommend it more highly. It's some of the highlights for me is just some of the crazy alien things. When Lone Wolf's remembering things when he's an android. The design of Karn Arnth is really neat. And the androids, the big giant centipedes. It's just really good. It's a smaller cast, which I like, and I like that you're seeing Lightlass get, to be a bigger part of a story other than her origin one. Some of the romance stuff is a little shorthand and goofy. She looks a little bit like Lucille Ball in some panels. But it's just nice. And Brainiac 5's got a nice part in it. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Well, let's move on to Adventure Comics 328, which is the lad who wrecked the Legion. Here's my little thing. It's cover date January 1965. Then I'm definitely born, because there's 3 months gap for those. It has a cover by Kurt Swan penciler, George Klein inker, letterer Milt Snapin, which has Superboy swinging Mon-El like a bat, cracking stuff. He's jammed Ultra Boy into the ground, and that's a great cover. But the art's a little better on the cover than it is in the inside, but it's not bad. It's just different, and it's a little jarring when you've been John Forte for 300, for 20-some issues. The story is called The Lad Who Wrecked the Legion. Part 2 is called The Secret of the Legion Rookie. Editor, plotter, Mort Weisinger. Plotter, scripter, Jerry Siegel. Penciler, inker, Jim Mooney. More Supergirl artist in my brain. Letterer, David Huffin. Roll call: Cosmic Boy, Saturn Girl, Mon-El, Lightning Lad, Triplicate Girl, Phantom Girl, Invisible Kid, Starboy, Superboy, Ultra Boy, Element Lad, Shrinking Violet, Sunboy. Supporting characters: Reserve Member Bouncing Boy and Commissioner Wilson of the Science Police. Villains: Command Kid joins the Legion of Superheroes in the story, and has an evil doppelganger, demon, not doppelganger, demon in his body. So let's read the synopsis and then we'll talk about this one. This one I don't think I don't remember it. So I think I read it, but I don't remember it. When a costume youth creates hypnotic hallucinations that capture robbers, the Legion arrives on the scene to congratulate the boy. He introduces himself as Command Kid of the planet Pretzor and accepts their offer of membership. Command Kid quickly displays immodesty about his supposed virtues and an insolent attitude toward everyone else. At an award ceremony, he really refuses to accept the gold armband Commissioner Wilson of the Science Police offers him. Later, overhearing several Legionnaires discussing his conceit and bad temper, he creates an illusion to make it seem as though Superboy, Mon-El, and Ultra Boy are fighting. Starboy comes to him minutes later, wishing his own power to be was as impressive, and Command Kid gives him a pill that puts him in suspended animation with the promise that he will have infinitely greater abilities upon waking. Later, while Command Kid avoids the gold relics of the Legion clubhouse and a piece of gold kryptonite, his fellow Legionnaires come to share Starboy's feelings regarding their powers. He offers to do for them that he was doing for what he was doing for Starboy, and after sending Superboy, Mon-El, and Ultra Boy on a mission, gives the others pills which render them inanimate. Just as he is about to seal their fates with a special device, Saturn Girl and Element Lad return from a mission, and the later uses his powers to turn the device into gold, rendering Command Kid unconscious. They then inform their revived comrades that an evil demon, whose only weakness was gold, had possessed Command Kid when his rocket craft crashed on a taboo hour in Pretzor. The evil demon departs Command Kid's body and flies into space, and the youth thereupon quits the Legion and returns to his world. Is this another one of those joins the Legion under false pretenses, even though it's like, the kid's not the false pretense, it's the demon inside him. The Jim Mooney art, I like it. It's different. It's a little more simple. I don't think simple's right. That's a bad. It's just a little more cartoony, and I like it. There's a different energy to it and a different bounce. And I think it's really good. What I think it's really good is I think he's good inking himself because it's nice and clean and looks very finished. And I think the story layouts are good. I think Command Kid looks cool. He's got a fur white collar. It's kind of this weird non-costume, like early, future space clothing. Gotta see my boy Element Lad have a lot to do. The demon looks a little like a Brood from X-Men. But there's a lot of fun stuff. It's got the panels. It's got the nice, splash page which has got some stuff and, shows an action that you'll see future in the comic. They have some nifty tech. You get to see how some of their old enemies fighting and like video things in the place. Bouncy Boy gets his powers back for an instant, but he says he doesn't mind being a reservist. And Galaxy Land, I like that. It's a lot of fun. It was a good issue. I'm clipping through these. The next one we're going to cover is 329 and 330. 330 I owned. It's got a great cover on it. But I don't think I've read 329. I've actually finished Archives Volume 3. I'll be moving to Volume 4. But yeah, we're covering 2 more coming up. Still seeing Jerry Siegel's going to write a few for a while, and then Edmund Hamilton. I know we're inching closer to Shooter, but I still think we got a ways to go. But there's a lot of fun stuff. This one was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It was nice to read these the other day after I had not read any Legion for a couple weeks. I read these Sunday night. I almost recorded yesterday, but life got in my way. But it's, I'm enjoying these. These are 2 fun comics. It's a lot of fun. A lot of stuff is getting dumped, is being put on the app. Stuff that I'm excited about. I put a poll up. 2 DC solo heroes and 2 Marvel ones, and the picks for DC were Sandman and Sideways, which I've never read any Sideways except guest star in one of the Infinite Frontiers or something. Sandman Mystery Theater, and then Omega, and oh good goodness, Omega and Richard Rider Nova. were some of the choices. Looks like Sandman Mystery Theater is going to be going through it at a clip. That entire run is now on the app. I'm excited. I've got the trade of Volume 1. I'm probably going to get rid of that, put it up on eBay soon because I've got them on the app. And then those new compendiums, 2 new compendiums are coming out that's going to have the whole run, and I think I'm going to get those. So, but these Legion, I saw a long list on a Discord that I'm on with a list of a lot of Superboy, Supergirl, and Legion stuff. So I've got everything through the Curse in trade or hardcover. So I'm fine because I do like reading them in the books. But I will look at them I can pull images or, screenshot stuff to share with you of what I see on the app. And the app is a lot. I put a lot of stuff aside. I've been looking at rereading the Post-Crisis Flash. Mike Barron on. I really did like that. It had some good art. It had Butch Geis. It had Craig LaRocque. It had great writers, Mike Barron, William Messer-Loebs, Mark Waid, Jeff Johns, and others. So I'm looking forward to that, and I kind of want to look at what if they have the Jeff John Omnibus of Justice Society and see how they map those stories. I'm learning stuff from Near Mint Condition on how to talk the lingo of the omnibuses. As you saw, if y'all follow me on Twitter, I got the new, I got the first and second Thunderbolts Omnis last week, along with the Invaders Omni. I will eventually read the Invaders, but right now I'm kind of jumping between. I'm really just jumping in and out of New Warriors. But they've got the Sandman. I want to read that. I'd done some Twitter reviews of the first several issues. I'm going to kind of go back and figure where I'm at on issue 8 and start that back up. It's just been a lot of stuff going on, and I had to take a pause last week, and it was good. Good mental health, get me ready to do these. I got some Defenders, Battle Magneto with a guest star, Professor X, with great Sal Buscema, Klaus Janson art. Oh my goodness. Can't wait to read those tomorrow. And then talk about him Thursday. I'm recording a couple things with Ron. Can't wait to talk to him about some stuff. So we did an episode about Bob Brown for his podcast. And we're going to talk a little Bronze Age Teen Titans. And then we're going to do a little episode to come out at Christmas. And that's it. This week I'll probably do an episode about the Justice Society 1. I'm going to do reviews of all those, because that's kind of what's in my head. And definitely going to talk about coming up Avengers, X-Men Eternals. I'm finally I've been letting my Avengers back up. I've not really read them because I just was not getting into Axe that much. I mean, it was okay, but it's, we're getting toward the end of the Aaron run, and I was more invested in Avengers Forever and what's going on in the main book. But I'm going to trudge through those this next few days, and then it'll be done, and I'll give my overview in an episode upcoming. I hope you'd be interested in that. I would love to hear your thoughts on Legion, who two characters liked. We're getting to the point we just met the future Timberwolf, which was cool. I got a letter from Billy D, email from Billy D, but it's about the Defenders that I last covered. So I'm going to read that letter Thursday. So I'm saving it. But I was excited to get it, and I appreciate the input and the comment on it. Billy D's a good, big supporter of the podcast, and I love talking to him about, we got 2 more episodes to do about Freedom Fighters, and I know we're going to be doing some more of the all-star comics from the 70s. I'm really discovering a sweet spot of my comic reading is really like 72 on. As I've gone back and covered some stuff, I was talking to a buddy today about that. The Defenders, I'm realizing now that these were comics that that was one of the first titles I read every month. I mean, it's early in my conduct fandom because I really remember kind of having those memories, and I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to what we're getting to. We're getting into stuff that I really, because I think I've told this story on my other podcast, and I think I may have told it here. When I was a kid, we didn't have action figures. Eventually, we had Migos at times, but we didn't have, we didn't get these Kenner lines. That was all a little later. I was like, Star Wars, I'd have been the right age, but, I'm 13 or 14. My folks weren't going to buy me those. That's just the way it was. 13, 14, they weren't going to buy me doll figures. They didn't care if I still played with my old brother's old G.I. Joes because I'd hand-me-downs action figures. But, so I did paper. I made paper figures and stuff, and I did lists of who was in what. I've got, I bought that index, Avengers Index, some of those Marvel indexes that came out when I was a certain age, and I can't remember, but and I did that, kind of kept lists who was members and stuff, and I really fixated on Nighthawk and the Defenders, and I really liked the Englehart and the Gerber stuff. And the David Anthony Kraft, and I read it. It became habit. I didn't read the last couple years because when I got to New Defenders, I was kind of like, what is this? So, but we'll get there eventually. And a lot of that I've not read. So, but I've just found my sweet spot. So I'm gonna dive in and out of the app tonight before I go to bed. Found the Jerry Conway New Gods, which I had the trade, but I sold it. And there's all the Secret Societies on there. And then I had both trades, and I sold them. I wish I had them. They're two series I really enjoy. I wish they do a collection of his Challenges in the Unknown, where it's Mike Nasser and Keith Giffen do the art, and Dead Man and Swamp Thing are member-ish in it. It's great. I'm one day going to cover it issue by issue, or at least do the whole story arc as one big long episode, especially if I can find somebody who's read it, or maybe get someone to read it and then tell me what they think. All right, folks, that's been more me talking about what the future is and less about Legion. Check out both those issues. They are available in the archives. Let's hope that more stuff's supposed to be coming out any day on the app, and just keep on looking. If you're not on I got the Ultra, and it's worth it. There's a lot of stuff I got to read quicker, and I'm paying about the same, except I have to pay it all up front, which is I'm going to take a hit, which means no Omnis for a while, or no big comic purchases, or Doctor Who purchases, and I've had to cancel. I canceled some DVDs that I had pre-ordered because I was like, I'll just get them later when they're on sale, because I need to have money in the bank for the Ultra, and it's worth it. I spent hours in between emails, kind of looking at it, and I did so a little after I got off work. It's neat. If you're not on the app, the DC app's good. It's actually better than Marvel right now, because the sheer amount of stuff they put. Of different stuff they put in. They put a lot of Vertigo out today. Sandman's Mystery Theater, Neil Gaiman's Complete, just in different formats. Check it out. It's worth the money. I'll plug it. I hate to do it, plug the man, but it's a good tool for comic readers. Check it out. All right, folks, that's it for today. Remember, as always, stay safe, be smart, be kind, and read some comics.